Test 1 2 3. 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 Let me know if this is working. Let me know if this is working. Let me know. Let me know. Let me know if this is working. Say something. I'm giving up on you. Hamburger. Great. Saying something. This cool. Hello, hello, 5 viewers. How are you today? Six viewers. And 6 of you are just watching me drink coffee, so that's not exciting at all. Can I play music at all? That'd be great. I don't know how to play music. No, it's not the button I was looking for. Hot for the hills. I'm all right. It's finally warming up a little bit. I went camping yesterday and it was really cold. And I'm just happy to be in a place where it's not as cold as it was yesterday. How are you doing? Where are you, Hot for the Hills? The Rebel Eye, how are you? You're stuck with me today. I'm sorry, everyone. This is the best we have to offer right now. Whoa. Central West Virginia. I've always wanted to go to West Virginia. Well, I have been to West Virginia, but not since I really got into hiking. I feel like you guys, more than anywhere, have some excellent whitewater rafting opportunities there that I'd love to check out. Jeremy Cox and Jason, how are you guys doing? William McKean, how are you? We have 14 viewers. You guys get to all sit here and watch me drink coffee and get hyped up over nothing. That's not true. I got a lot of work to do still, but that's all right. What can I answer for you? I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I was just telling everyone that I got back from camping yesterday and it was really cold, and I'm happy to be in Los Angeles where it's warm. I've heard about the Gauley Hot for the Hills. That's what when we went to Kern River, they specifically called out the Gauley, and I need to get back into, when I say back into, I need to whitewater raft a second time and then a third time and not stop because that was too much fun. Limestone asks, what's my favorite kind of rock? I like granite. I also don't know too many rocks. I like granite because it's all over Yosemite and it's everywhere. I also don't know if this is true, but I watched it in a documentary once. Granite, the way it's formed, it's got like it's super compressed, and so when it falls in Yosemite Canyon, it almost like explodes because it has this pressurized air. I don't know if it's true or not. So if I were to choose a favorite rock, it's granite right now. Let's see, William McKean, how's the SoCal weather? The SoCal weather is pretty nice. It's actually, I'd say, upper 60s, low 70s right now. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. That kind of goes into the Rebel Eyes question. It's much better than where I camped yesterday, which was Death Valley. We went to, it was a new moon yesterday, and so I wanted to take some of my friends to see the Milky Way. The problem is with Death Valley is you'd expect it to be, I don't know, dry, not any clouds, no rain, because it's called Death Valley. And sure enough, as soon as we got there, it started raining. But it wasn't like disastrous flooding rain like we were like, like you are sometimes warned about with flash floods. It was just annoyingly cold, windy rain. And so we kind of just hid out in our tent while everyone else was hit it. Like, we were one of the few tent campers. Most everyone there was an RV camper. But it was great because I got to try out my new cast iron, and I made some tri-tip steak, and it turned out beautifully. I'd love to share a video of that sometime. I just don't know the right avenue to share that. Okay. What else we got? Limestone wanted me to say limestone. I don't know enough about limestone. I'm not a geologist. I feel like I should be, but I'm not. I'm an amateur geographer, though. I got a minor in geography when I was in college. Granted is a solid choice. I like that. What place? Jason asks, what place do you want to get to with Adventure Archives that you haven't been yet? A ton of places. Probably the first thing on the docket would be Iceland, just because it's so cheap to go there with WoW airfare. The thing I've heard about traveling to Iceland, though, the cheapest thing about going to Iceland is literally going to Iceland. Everything in Iceland is expensive. I don't know if that's true, and I'd love to hear from people if they've had very cheap experiences there. But I would just love to, hop on a plane and land in a place where I can see some northern lights again. All right, Edom. Is it Edom or Edom? Edom or Edom? Hello from Oregon. Hello from California. It's sunny here. I don't know how it is in Oregon. Jeremy Cox, of all the places you guys have gone, shot episodes since you've been in Cali, where are you most looking forward to getting back once you move to Ohio? I want to see Dolly Sods. I have never been to Dolly Sods, never even heard of it until the guys started filming there. And I feel like in the same way it was the guy's rite of initiation and then Brian's rite of initiation, I feel like I got to do that too. And I feel like there's so many opportunities there just to go out and explore that we could go and film another episode and it would feel completely different. Lucas2544, if you want to come up to Santa Barbara area, there are some awesome Los Padres National Forest spot up here. Actually, we are kind of heading in that direction. I'm not going to spoil anything. A little further north, though, we are going to a place that's big. When the guys come out here and we're backpacking 2 days, and we do. No, we have to go through the Central Valley, not Los Padres. But hey, Andrew's coming out tomorrow, and we'll see if we can take a trip up to Santa Barbara. We're probably going to go to Malibu, that's for sure. There's a great hiking trail I love that I haven't filmed yet that I think Andrew should go on. It's where Giraffe says it's pronounced Edom, the same way that it's spelled. All right, let me see. Rebel Eyed, this seems like a good time as any to untangle a massive knot of paracord. Go for it, absolutely. Let me see. William McKean, how much Spanish have you picked up since living in LA? I used to be a lot better at Spanish when I was in high school, when I used to go to South America every summer. I definitely wasn't fluent, but I could get by with a conversation if they were patient and slow enough with me. Now I can't, and I'm honestly worried that I might, in my attempt to speak Spanish, just come across as offensive, and so I just don't. But I would love to. I just need the time, and that's something I don't really. I probably could make time for it, but I just don't want to because I got so many other things to do. Thomas, how are you doing? Thomas Vornheater. I'm sorry, I'm going to butcher all your names. Vornheater. ¿De dónde es la biblioteca? Where is the biblioteca? The library, I believe. Esther, how are you? Hi from Seattle. Have you hiked anywhere in Washington State? The Cascades and the Olympic Mountains are awesome. I have not hiked in Washington. I've hiked in Oregon, near Trillium Lake. Last year with a friend of mine, we found cheap airfare to go from Burbank to Portland. So we hopped on a plane. We got up there. We found a little cabin near Mount Hood, and it rained the whole damn time we were there. Didn't even get to see the top of the mountain. Just we went to the lake. It was cloudy. Couldn't see anything. It was very disappointing. But I will say the lake itself was very beautiful, and I would absolutely run back there in a heartbeat if I could. I have a dream someday, especially after going to school, that there is a certain company up in Seattle that sells a lot of outdoor equipment that I would love to work for someday. I don't know if I'll ever have a chance to, or if I feel like trying to find a place affordable in Seattle. But hey, if I end up moving there for an internship or a job, I would love the opportunity to go hiking in some of the Cascade and Olympic Mountains. All I know is I love Ohio. I know Los Angeles City isn't for me, but I do know that I love the mountains near Los Angeles. And if I can move myself after grad school to a place where there are mountains, I would be more than happy. But that isn't to say that I'm completely writing off Ohio, because I do like Ohio. It just doesn't have mountains, and I don't know. Let's see what else we got. How often do you go hiking? It seems like you do it more than the rest. Yes, Were Giraffe. I used to go hiking a lot, and my biggest problem is I didn't film my hike because it's hard to film a hike when you're doing like 15 miles in a day. Mount Baldy is one of my favorite hikes out in Southern California, and that's just a pain in the butt to try and film. I could have, I just would not have enjoyed it. And a lot of times I just go out into the mountains to de-stress after working. Now the problem is I would love to go and film something at Mount Baldy right now. It's just covered in snow, and somebody died last week, so it's not the best time to go do this if you're an amateur mountaineer like I am. So that's why I don't. I also don't want to give anyone bad information if I film a mountaineering short video. Let's see. Sarita Davis, how are you? Hans, how are you? Mr. President. It's so funny how that stuck. I don't know why I'm President Sinard, but I'm sure I'll take it. Thank you. Esther, how's your camera? Yes, I got my camera fixed. It wasn't the camera, it was the lens that's broken, and it's working now. I filmed a little short video. That's actually not going to be short. It's going to be about 15 to 20 minutes of a place nearby called Vasquez Rocks, and it all worked just fine. It got a little rain on it, but that's all right. My camera can take a little bit of rain. Our cameras take a lot of beating, so that's why really it's really important to we do that. Esther, thank you so much for saying that I'd be perfect for REI. I don't know if I am REI material, but that means a lot to me. Thank you. Jeremy Cox, go to Get Out Dolly Sods, Thomas Vornheater, and I went back in October, and it was incredible. There's a great guide route on hiking upward that hits all the main spots. Tried to link it, but didn't work. All right, I got to try Dolly Sods. You've convinced me. Hot for the Hills. Have you heard of any cool places in Ohio? One of my favorite places is Hocking Hills. You just can't beat Hocking Hills. It's got this magical feeling. Maybe I'm looking through it through a nostalgic lens on this, but I absolutely love Hocking Hills. You can't go wrong with that. Athens, Ohio, where I went to for my undergrad. Also one of my favorite places. There's a lake nearby called Stroud's Lake. Tons of great hiking there. I will say the thing about hiking in Ohio is you don't get a whole lot of variety unless you go to extreme ends of the state. So I'd say, don't plan on like going to Hocking Hills for 4 days and then going to Stroud's because you're basically going to see the same thing. So it's good to kind of take breaks between and check out other areas, especially West Virginia. I'd love to go to West Virginia. Okay, Jandy, I agree with Iceland being expensive. Go during the shoulder season. So that's when we really want to go. You went during November last year, and the weather was a hit and miss. Yeah, I believe it. If Adventure Archives got a contract for REI adverts, that would be amazing. Thank you, Were Giraffe. Yay! I pronounced Thomas Vornheater's Vornheater. I can't remember how I did it. The name is. I'm glad I got that right. Jeremy Cox is about 20. Oh wow, 22 miles is the same distance as Mount Whitney. So that's not an easy thing to do. Do you Jason Likens, do you prefer solo hiking or do you do it alone because you don't have your buds local? That's a tough one because I like hiking by myself and I do like hiking with my friends. When we hike with my friends, like with the rest of the guys, it's tough because they film everything and we sacrifice mileage with filming. So whereas if we were to hike up Mount Baldy, that would easily be a overnight, 2 full days worth of hiking for them with all the filming that we would do. When in reality, you can do that in just 6 hours if you're just hiking by yourself without filming. I sometimes like hiking alone because I have an opportunity to sit there and collect my thoughts on things. But yeah, I don't really like. It's going to sound creepy, but I don't laugh. I don't have a jolly good time when I'm hiking by myself, the same way I do when I'm hiking with Bryan, Andrew, and Robby. And I'm not like sitting there cracking up by myself when I'm on the trail. I crack up all the time when I'm with the guys. So that's what I love about hiking with them. Limestone, Ohio is always fun to camp in because our weather changes every 5 minutes. Yeah, that's for sure. William McKean, do you ever see yourself climbing any semi-major mountains? And such as I would love to climb Kilimanjaro. Anything that isn't too technical. I'm not like I'm not a rock climber or like a mountain climber where I'm I I I don't mind the idea of taking an ice axe up a mountain. I just want to feel more confident in my skills because you get a lot of people, and I've mentioned this earlier on Mount Baldy for sure. Mount Baldy is like one of those few mountains near Los Angeles where you can actually do some mountaineering with ice axes, crampons, ropes, all that stuff. And so what you get in Los Angeles is you get these people who just got the equipment from REI. They're like, okay, where do I use it? Where do I use it? And it's like, okay, Mount Baldy is the place that everyone recommends, not recommends, that I see everywhere, and I'm just going to go up Mount Baldy and try and hike it for the first time in the snow. And you get up there, and people end up dying. I mean, heck, last year, I think 5 people died, including this one guy, Sam, who was 70. He was in his 70s. He had hiked Mount Baldy almost 1,000 times. They did a great piece about him in Los Angeles Times before he died. And even if you're an experienced hiker, hiking Mount Baldy is just dangerous. I actually saw someone fall when I took an REI mountaineering class there. And if you watch our preparing for Mount Whitney video, I have a little clip of the rescue from that event. It's not something that should be taken lightly. And I guess maybe the best place to go training for mountaineering is someplace with ski slopes where you can do it and there are a lot of people nearby and you're not in people's ways, and like the park or someone has like a designated area to practice belaying or uh, using your crampons. It's just a dangerous thing in general, and it's one of those. It's kind of like getting a job right out of college. You need experience to get on a mountain. um, oh shoot, what is it? You need experience to get a job, to get that entry level job, but you don't have any experience. So it's like, I'm trying to think. It's that catch 22. You need to experience to go on a mountain, but you can't go on a mountain without any experience. So it's kind of tough like that. Okay, William McKean. They are both technically easy to climb, I've heard. So yeah, maybe Kilimanjaro. Would love to do that. I heard we were talking about that a lot when we were on Whitney. One of the guys Robby follows on YouTube climbed Kilimanjaro, and he said it was a tremendous experience. Jason, do you have a favorite song from Adventure Archives episode? Yes, I do. If you watch Yosemite, the song it's either called Awani or Awanichi. It's this one where we are driving to. If you've ever been to Yosemite, there's this place called Tunnel View, and you drive through this tunnel, and it's dark. It's dark, and then right as soon as you get through the tunnel, it explodes, and you see all of the valley and its grandeur. And the music, I don't know if it was Robby, Bryan, or Andrew, they wrote that song, and it just kind of elevated into this grandiose song as we kind of walk out there. And then it says, um, it was called Awani for the gaping mouth, but it goes by another name to most. And then it comes up with like the Yosemite uh, logo and everything. And that song is one of my favorite ones. Serena, sounds like LA wasn't really to your liking. How did you end up working in the area? Was it not what you expected when you started living in LA? Been to LA, didn't really want to live there. And Jeremy, I'll get to your question in a second. I'm sorry. Since I don't have that many questions, I'm spending a lot of time on each. So if you have any questions, please feel free to write them. I will absolutely get to them. So Serena, I came to LA right after college, like literally right after college, because I had an internship. I don't work there anymore, so I'll just say it. I had an internship with Warner Brothers, and it was kind of my dream job. It was right next to my dream job, which was doing market research for Warner Brothers movies. So I was doing market research for Warner Brothers TV shows, and I'm not going to get into specifics because that'll just bore you. But it was basically pulling up Nielsen data to support the sales to local media buying stations. Uh, I liked it because as an intern, they gave me so much creative control. And when I say creative control, I'm not like designing TV shows or anything. I'm designing studies about TV shows um, that you really don't get with other internships, especially creative internships where you're just getting coffee and making food runs and stuff. So I was very appreciative of that. Uh, that led to another job at CBS where I was doing something similar, but more on the primary research side where we were testing CBS shows. And then that led back to Warner Brothers, where I ended up getting my dream job at Warner Brothers Theatrical. So we were testing movies. I'm not going to go into specifics because it's kind of, I mean, you can imagine. But I came out for that, and it was weird. I would wake up for my dream job, and I loved it at first. But the more I did it, the more I was like, I just can't wait for this weekend so I can go hiking. I can't wait for this weekend to go hiking. And even at work, I'd be like, if it was a down day, I'd be like, okay, where can I go hiking next? Where can I go hiking next? And eventually I just kind of, I'd wake up in the morning and I'm like, something just isn't clicking. I like the people I'm working with. I kind of like the work I'm doing, but at the end of the day, I really would just love to be outside, be in nature. And I was kind of going down a path my job where I knew that wasn't exactly what I wanted to do. And fortunately, Adventure Archives was kind of, I don't want to say taking off, but it was doing a lot better than I think, than I thought it would. And so I said, grad school is an option. I got family in Ohio. Andrew, Robby, well, Robby's not. Andrew and Bryan are in Ohio, and I'd love to see them. I got a lot of friends in Ohio, a lot of friends out here too. Maybe that was just the time to make a career change. I also like the idea of owning a house at some point in my life, and I know I can't do that out here in Los Angeles. So all those kind of accumulated into this idea. I applied to grad school, I got in, and I'm not going to say I disliked LA, but I'll say that I want to explore other options. And right now, LA just does not seem like the place for me. But I don't know. My whole life I've had a plan, and now I don't really have a plan besides going to grad school. Okay, sorry, getting a lot more questions. Let's see. Jeremy Cox, he did Dolly Sods as a 4-day, 3-night. Wasn't too bad. Maybe a lot for an episode, but definitely check out. There's plenty of connecting trails. We would love to, even if it's just a portion of that. I'm sure we'd love to do that. I don't know if the guys have even done part of that in their video, but I'd love to go back. I feel like that's a rite of initiation. Thomas Esther says, Thomas, do you play an instrument and write music? I love the music in the videos. All the music is Bryan, Robby, and Andrew. I have never once contributed to a song, with the exception of I kept on pushing, hey, you guys need to come up with this thing called leitmotif, which I got from watching a YouTube video that described leitmotifs in Lord of the Rings. So in Lord of the Rings, there's a great video. If you get a chance, just type in leitmotif into YouTube Lord of the Rings. How this one part of a song can be stretched into multiple different, I guess, like for each character, this one part of the song can be played a certain way to emphasize a certain character or a certain mood. And Lord of the Rings, which is my favorite movie series of all time, does it so beautifully. And I kept on saying we should do something like that. And I think the guys probably already knew about this before I even came up with the idea, but I was pushing that. And in Whitney, we really had that happen, where you would hear this theme get played either harder as we were hiking harder, or softer during some quieter, some more personal moments. That's pretty much my only contribution to music. When I get back, sure, maybe I'd love to stretch my music creativity, but I'll be honest, Andrew, Robby, and Bryan, they're just masters of it. And what would take me 10 days to come up with, they could probably come up within an hour. So my time could be spent better elsewhere. All right, Limestone. Next summer, 3 of my friends and I are planning a week-long backpacking trip at one of the national parks. Would you recommend Yosemite or Yellowstone more? Yellowstone. I love Yosemite, don't get me wrong. I've been there 5 times. But sorry, yeah, I've been to Yosemite 5 times. Yellowstone is just, it's heaven on earth. Make sure you put some time into the Grand Tetons. I actually like the Tetons more than I like Yellowstone, just because there are fewer crowds and they're beautiful mountains. I'm just a mountain guy. Jason, yes, that is a great moment from Yosemite episode. I'm glad you agree. Are you planning to return to Canada anytime? Yes, we are. Whether that's for another canoeing episode, would love to collaborate with with a certain YouTuber up in northern Canada. I think he's heard of us sometimes, but I'd love to collaborate with him on a canoeing episode or Banff. We might actually have a Banff. It's Banff, yeah, Banff episode coming up with my uncle maybe. Hey Brian, how's it going? Good to see you, Brian. Everyone saying hi to Brian. The American Dream. Gin, in America, first you get the sugar, then you get. Oh, that needs to be turned off. Sorry about that, everyone. Okay. In America, first you get the sugar, then you get the power, then you get the women. Okay. Not sure what that means, but okay. Bart G. Hi, Thomas. Hi, Bart. How's it going? Oh, Jen. It was a Simpsons reference. I didn't get that. I'm sorry. Leitmotifs are great. I've noticed that happening, so that's a great contribution. Serena, thanks for answering my question. Good for you that you realized you want something different. Many people don't realize it until it is too late. All the best in grad school. Thank you. Where Giraffe is a Joe Robinette? Yes, I'd love to. We haven't even reached out to him, so maybe I'm just reaching for some stars. But yes, I would love to. I would love to go speak to Joe. All right, the Joe Banff. Brian is talking here. Coming to Banff would be awesome. I hike there all the time, and I'd love to meet up with you guys there even briefly. You're gonna have to remind me what city is next to Banff. Is it Calgary? Is it Calgary? Because I'd love to meet up with some people in Calgary. I hear that's just a beautiful city. Serena went to Yosemite in the winter, February. It was still crowded, yes, but it's probably worse in the summertime. Is Yellowstone less crowded, you think? I think you can't even get to parts of Yellowstone, most of Yellowstone in the wintertime. In the summertime, Yellowstone does get crowded, not nearly as much as Yosemite. But if you kind of go on the shoulder seasons, it's less bad. If you start early in the morning and get to where you need to be by mid-afternoon, you're fine. But everywhere it just gets crowded. And this is a conversation for another time, but we're really loving our national parks to death. And I don't, a smarter man a smarter man or woman can figure out how we can fix that. But we really are loving our parks to death. Landscape here is awesome. Yes, I've only seen pictures. Where Giraffe? Yeah, he's awesome. That would be sick. Would it be cool if we could do something with Joe? Oh, it was referring. Jen was talking about referring to a dream of buying a house, the American dream. Since this quote, got it. Joe's a good guy. Camped with him on my first winter's camp. Awesome. Hey, maybe we can use you as a reference if we're applying for a opportunity to hike with him or canoe with him. We got to be better canoers ourselves. I think I've only canoed once. The guys have canoed a bunch more than I have, but I know I need to work on my J strokes. Calgary is next to Banff. Yes, I live there. Oh, you live there. Oh, perfect. I got a friend who lives there too. Great city. Alex Tessman. Hi, Thomas. Thanks for doing the stream. Where do you see the channel going in the future as the brand grows? How do you see AA changing? So that's kind of like a group. We each have our own ideas where we want Adventure Archives to go. My personal goal is I'd love for this just to be an ongoing thing that the guys can work on as their dream. I don't know if this is something that I'm going to be able to work on full time after grad school. But hey, I would love to keep contributing. I'd love to help grow the channel as much as possible. Basically, what I would love it to do is just we make videos like we have been. Maybe we travel around the country more, around the world more. I think the biggest thing right now I would love to see our channel do is I wouldn't say replace, but in addition to adding to nature content, add something more to the human element of travel. That's what we're kind of hoping to do with our road trip. Instead of going to a national park, or instead of just going to a national park, or just going to a national forest, I'd love to meet with somebody from that area talk about what's going on in that area, what's going on in that, maybe not just even that area, maybe what's just going on with their lives, and have that human element. And whether that's through just us walking, talking over some dinner at a local restaurant, just chatting about things. Anthony Bourdain does it best, and he's one of my inspirations for what I'd love, like a new thing to add to the channel, is just hear people, hear their perspective on things. You may not, you may agree, you may disagree. Um, Eventually, it would bring in a nature element to it, but I would love to add that to the channel in addition to what we've always been doing. I don't know if that's fair or not. Okay, wow, yeah, you get behind. William McKean next to meaning a 45-minute drive. Okay, we're draft Rebel Eye, man. That's cool as like a really cool dude and a hip hop head. Jeremy Cox, do you guys have plans or ideas for another spring episode this year? I love the spring time themes and visuals. New River Gorge. So real quick, the guys have another full episode that they've already filmed that they're working on editing, and Andrew needs to work on it when he comes out here tomorrow. That's going to kind of finish up the winter camping. And then right after that, they are filming an episode out here in California, which I don't know if it's technically like spring in the Midwestern sense, but it is definitely warmer. I'll say that than what you typically get for right after a winter session. It's not going to be exactly in the desert, but yeah, you should be getting an episode every month, almost every month. Hans, hey Hans, how's it going? Random question: do you believe in Bigfoot, and how do you think you'd react if you saw one while hiking? If I saw a Bigfoot while hiking, I would probably freak the heck out. Do I believe in Bigfoot? My gut says no, but that doesn't mean it. I believe in Bigfoot the same way I believe in Ouija boards. I don't believe in it until, but I'm not going to mess with it. In the same way, I'm not going to be making fun of Bigfoot. I'm not going to be like poking my head around spooky caves at night. In the same way, I'm not going to be playing with a Ouija board in a haunted house on Friday the 13th. Does that make sense? Sup, Thomas and chatters. Hey, Thomas. Different Thomas. How's it going? Hot for the Hills. Will you guys have an AA merchandise? Would love. Yeah, we're kind of working with someone right now. That's not going to be for shirts and stuff. We're working with someone right now. I actually had a mock-up design that I need to edit. But what would be cool is if we each had our own design, and it wouldn't just be the AA logo. We'd actually have like designs for things. I have one based off of Mount Whitney that I've been working on, and it'll be on a website eventually, but that's something we're not going to touch until I get back to Ohio. So give us another month and we'll get there for you. We'll get there for you. Where draft? It's a Mad Jedi. It's the Mad Jedi. Jin, go during the Calgary Stampede. I'll have to look up what that is. Jason, how can we help you guys reach your channel goals? That's a great question, Jason. Thank you so much for asking. It's tough because we don't really, we're kind of different than a lot of outdoor channels where we focus less on the gear and more on the experience. I'd say the best thing for us right now is to get new viewers. And through that exposure, we would probably get more support on Patreon. The nice thing about, at least the thing that I like about our videos, is no matter what, all of the videos will eventually go on online for free. So like this new video, you guys, thank you so much for supporting us. That will be available to the public in 2 or 3 weeks. And still, even people get upset that they have to wait 2 or 3 weeks, which is kind of a good thing because that means they want our stuff. So if you want, something that you guys can do is if you are on a hiking forum, if you are on Reddit, if you're on Tumblr, if you're on Facebook, if you could just share our stuff, and like anytime you see someone say like, do you have any like traveling YouTube shows that you could recommend, and you see that on a thread, say, I mean, if you believe in our material, recommend us. We would really appreciate that. The more exposure we get, the better. And we would love for our channel to hit 100,000 subscribers. Right now we're just under 50,000, but hey, 2 years ago we were just barely at 10,000, so just barely over 10,000. So you guys have been fantastic. And all it takes is one viral video to hit the top page of Reddit, and we could see our growth up like that. William McKean, if you want to see great videos of hiking in Banff and the surrounding area, look up a channel called Marty Up North. I'll check. I think I've watched some of Marty Up North before, but I'll check him out. Where Giraffe Lol. I was just about to say Anthony Bourdain of hiking. That would be great. I would love that. He's such a. I just like his philosophy on a lot of stuff. Where Giraffe. If you like him, I suggest Huang's World, and even the new On the Run Eating Minor. I'll have to check those out for sure. Brian, okay. The answer of a wise man. Thanks. Hi, Brian. Hi, Jason. Brian, I would never say anything mean about you. Why would I ever say anything mean about you? Do I ski or snowboard? I do neither. I think I'd like skiing because I can stand up straight on two legs, almost well. I can't stand on a skateboard well, so I'm not even gonna pretend to try and do snowboarding. Jason, yeah, no, I wouldn't say anything bad about Brian. As a professional Redditor, I will try and give you guys some aid. Limestone, thank you so much. It's we can't exactly go onto Reddit and say watch our stuff in our videos because it's that's self promotion and nobody wants self promotion. But if someone says like these guys make good videos, that would mean the world to us. When you guys get the 100,000 subs, who will keep the Silver YouTube Award? I have no claim over that. I think the guys have a mantle. They have a really great mantle of just all the stuff fans have sent us over the years. I think that would probably go up there unless Robby nudged the other guys out of the way. But I'm not even going to try and touch that. I'd like to take a picture with it. Don't get me wrong, like the Stanley Cup, but yeah, no, I do not claim ownership over that by any sense. Where Giraffe, I have seen you on the Ask Reddit threads, but unfortunately, it's usually buried under Alfie Aesthetics and TA Outdoors and those guys. Yeah, sometimes we see that, but hey, maybe sometimes they get bored of the same recommendations over again. I think the problem that we have on YouTube, I'm not going to say it's a problem because I kind of like it, is when you're on Reddit and you see a hour-long video, the last thing you want to do is like, okay, I'm just going to take an hour out of my day and watch this guy on YouTube. Especially if you aren't familiar with her content, you just assume that it might be an hour-long video of 4 guys with 4 GoPros just shaking it around. Which is why I think we need to kind of create some shorter content just to kind of whet people's appetite. So rather than shoving a hour-long video down people's throats, say here's a 10-minute video of the same caliber, but you only have to watch 10 minutes. And if you like this 10 minutes, guess what? We got 20 episodes worth an hour long each. And if you're a Patreon member, hey, we got a lot of bloopers too. So that's kind of, maybe that should be one of our strategies, but it's kind of what we're doing with some, when I get back to Ohio, I'm sure we're going to have a lot, because I want to continue my day hikes, and it'll be a lot easier with Brian and Andrew down the street that we can do that, especially Hocking Hills. Where Giraffe also says, I think you guys keep it too real. Got to do some of that self-promotion. We you're kind of right, but Reddit's one thing, and we don't want to just keep going and saying, watch our stuff, because that seems disingenuous. I found that when people have promoted us on Reddit, it's a lot better. It's like, I really like watching these guys. It's just, it feels a lot more than just us tooting our own horn. But hey, maybe you're right. Not maybe, you are right. We should kind of go out there and own our product a little bit more. Jason says, speaking of the Stanley Cup, do you have a favorite team? The Blue Jackets, I'm guessing. I suck at sports, I'm going to be honest. I will say the Blue Jackets because I am from Columbus, and they are the Blue Jackets are based off of a Civil War. The Battery A, the first Ohio Battery A artillery unit from the Civil War, and I used to reenact with them way long ago. And I do kind of like watching hockey. I don't know why I like watching hockey and not soccer, but I do like that. Limestone says, I found this channel when I was looking for Hocking Hills hiking spots and kind of got addicted. Didn't realize Yosemite was an hour long until I was 15 minutes in. And it's kind of, I I have a lot of friends out here, um, and I'm very grateful that they've supported me. Uh, some of them watch our stuff. A lot of them don't. They're just aware that I would do YouTube channels. And I had an opportunity to show a 10-minute clip at this alumni event on a screen at Red Studios, and there were about, I'm going to say, 80 people in the audience. And so I showed a 10-minute clip, and the biggest comment I got after that was, I can't believe that was 15 or like 10 or 15 minutes long. That just went by so quickly, And that's the thing I like about how the guys edit their videos is they do it in a way that just makes time stop, and it doesn't feel like an hour long video. When you watch some of my early videos, and this is one of the things, if you watch some of the videos I've edited, they do feel like an hour long because I have a lot of downtime. The way they cut their music and the way they edit their shots to the music really does help that time go by much faster. The problem with that is you need a lot of shots as filler, because if you watch, and you have a measure, like 4 measures, each beat sometimes has its own shot, which means you might have 10 shots over the course of 16 seconds. So what does that equate to? Like 1.2, yeah, one shot is 1.2 seconds long or something like that. And that's a crazy amount of shots that you got to add in. Okay, sorry, I'm getting off the rails here. Jin, why aren't you part of Mount Whitney commentary? That's a great question. They just didn't invite me. I also was probably working back then, and it's just easier for them to do their own thing and film it on their own without me being there. Maybe I just was busy. This is one of my big problems lately. I did work from 9 to 6 every day, and I did have that 3-hour delay. So by the time I got home from work out here, it would be almost 10 o'clock their time, and Robbie's in bed by 10 o'clock most nights, and Andrew's honestly just waking up. But uh, you can only do so much with that time delay and with my time limitations. And I'll be honest, since I left Warner Brothers, I've been working so hard on Adventure Archives. I've been working harder on Adventure Archives than I think I did most days at Warner Brothers, and that feels great. But it's also not. It's not a salaried job either. Okay, let's see what else we got. South, hey, how's it going? Tell me about yourself, South. Are you from the South? William, is hiking and camping the only way to stay in shape? Oh, the only way I stay in shape, or do you do any spots or weight training? When I get back to Ohio, I'm going to go to the gym more with Bryan and Andrew. Out here, I had no one to go to the gym with, and so I'd just go on the Stairmaster for 40 minutes or so. I'd find an episode of a show that I wanted to watch or a movie I wanted to watch, and I just sit there and I'd watch it. I would try and use some of the. I'm just so awkward at the gym. I do some of the machines. I was one of those sad people that you just like, okay, am I doing this right? Am I doing this right? I just sucked at it. But when I get back, I do want to work out with Bryan and Andrew more because I won't be alone. They can tell me what I'm doing wrong, and we can push each other a little bit more. We did have a gym at Warner Brothers, but it was like a $40 a month subscription. I don't know if that's the right word or not. And I really didn't feel like paying that much. The benefit is, hey, I heard that if you're at the gym at Warner Brothers, you get to see some people like Conan or some of the celebrities that work there. And I really don't want to be the awkward kid in the corner trying to push weights while Dwayne the Rock Johnson is pumping 30 pounds. I'm sure Dwayne doesn't work there. What am I talking about? But Conan works. I just don't want. I don't like being judged at the gym, and I feel like of any gym in the world, that's the gym where I'd feel the most pressured, even if they weren't pressuring me or judging me. Where draft? Yeah. What other interests do you have? I enjoy long walks at the beach. I enjoy food. I'm enjoying cooking actually a lot more. Um, right now, my new thing has been cooking in cast iron, cooking a lot of meat. Just because I'm trying to figure out how to cook meat better. Um, that sounds weird, I know, but it's one of the things I'm interested in. I want to eventually get a smoker and learn how to like use certain wood chips and understand the chemistry behind cooking. But that's just something I haven't been able to do a lot because I live in Los Angeles. First of all, I'm on a budget because not making a whole lot of money, and I also don't have a house. And I feel like if you want a smoker, you kind of need a backyard. And I'm living in an apartment right now. What else do I like? Video games, not as much as Bryan and Robby though, and they can tell you a lot more about video games than I do. But I love Zelda. Um, Friends, hiking is really it. I love traveling. I'm sorry, I need to come up with some better interests. Maesta, is it Maestas or Maestas 001? Love you guys and the channel. Glad to hear your guys' plan on sticking to your core values. Thank you. It means a lot to us, and really, I mean, it does, just because it's tough when you get people out there telling you, hey, you need to do this, hey, you need to do that. I'm like, yeah, I think we're gonna do what we want to do. Megan, I think everyone feels like that at the gym. Yeah, I've, there's this place in Hollywood called Runyon Canyon, and I've mentioned this before. Um, it's I'm there's a lot of hiking purists out there, and I don't want to be one of those where you're like, oh, you that's not real hiking, that's not real hiking. So I'm not going to say that, but I will say there's this place where a lot of people go hiking, and it is real hiking in Hollywood, but you're basically in line. There's a lot of ripped, beautiful people there, just like shirtless, just abs everywhere, pouring water over themselves, and uh, I feel like when I go hiking there, or the one or two times I did go hiking there, I was like, I felt put to shame because people were just showing off their body. And I don't think that's what hiking is about. Coming from someone who's part of a YouTube show about hiking. Where giraffe? Oh, sorry, Rebel Eye. Oh, south. Let me go up here. Yep, definitely sounds like me, lol. Okay, Rebel Eye. I would love to see if Andrew uses the tarp I sent him on future episodes, just to see what what setup he uses. I'd love to see that too. I know he loves tarp camping. He swears by it sometimes, and I'm absolutely sure he'll use it. We'll see if I think he'll probably bring it with him when he comes tomorrow. Where giraffe? So we seeing cast iron skill in the next episode. It depends on how we film the next episode. If it's going to be part of the road trip, or if it's going to be. I can tell you, we're not bringing it backpacking. That thing is like 25 pounds. It's awful. But for car camping, it's perfect. And I just did use it in Death Valley to cook an amazing tri-tip steak, if I do say so myself. All right. South, what's my favorite cooking show? I'm going to go back to Anthony Bourdain, just because I like the way he presents cooking rather than like he focuses less on how to cook and more on what he's eating and who he's eating with, because that's what I like about cooking at the end of the day is how are you eating it and who are you eating it with and where does it come from, rather than, oh, you got to mix the creme fraiche with the pureed. I don't know. I don't care about ingredients as much. I'm not a religious cooker like that. William McKean, is it true that you're an Excel guy? If you're looking for an Excel guy to hire, I am not. But yes, I am an Excel guy, and that was one of the reasons I found that I needed to leave my job. Was I was getting slotted into that. Um, I would design macros and write code, and I was like, I have no business doing this because I barely know what I'm doing. Let's see. Parts unknown. I do like parts unknown. Brian answering some questions. Sous vide machine and can't mess it up. All right, I'll Oh, I do like Good Eats, Jason. I do like Good Eats because he talks about the chemistry of it all. I'm just not smart enough to understand all of it, and so I feel like when I watch one episode, I need to watch it 4 or 5 times just to understand. Okay, the proteins are bonding with the oxygen, and that's why it's sticking to the pan. And I wish I understood that a little bit better. But like I said, I got to watch one episode 4 or 5 times just to get it. I sucked at chemistry in high school. Do you think Amazon will choose Columbus for HQ too? Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. I think, without getting into politics too much, I think Amazon may have been testing the waters with because they released a statement about um, in making sure that they're in a city that's inclusive of all their employees, and I think they called out Columbus as one of those cities that would not be for some legislation. Uh, I would love it if they chose HQ2. I think I say I would love it now, but I don't really know what the ramifications are, and so I can't really say for sure if it's a great thing or not. I think for Columbus, it already has gone through so much change in the last 10 years. This would bring so much more change. I think it'd be great for some people. I think it'd be horrible for some other people. And I don't really know, but I'm going to say for my personal selfish reasons, I think it'd be good if HQ2 came to Columbus. It would really, really be the Portland of the Midwest then. Rebel Eye at Spiky Bry, which is Brian. Cheers. I am honestly curious what he does with it. It's fairly big. When I set it up with that hammock, I had about 5 feet of porch space on one side. Let me see. Let me make sure I'm reading this right. Ardio, sorry. How long did you live in California? Did you have a support system over there when you moved? I'm likely making a move to a few states away with no friends in the area, and it seems pretty daunting. All right, it's a good question. So when I first moved out here, I moved out 4 years ago. I had a few people I knew out here. I was not close with them. These are all people through my alumni group through Ohio University, my undergrad. I had no one out here for about 3 months, and then I had about 20 people move out on this spring, or not spring break, in the summer in LA program, which meant, sorry, Andrew's messaging me, that I did have some friends, but they were only out here for 3 months. That was great. And then they all went back to school, and then a few of them stuck around afterwards. So I had 2 or 3 friends. Now, the good news is if you're out in a place like that, you just need to go to some event, and all you need is 2 or 3 friends at first. And then it's going to snowball into more friends and more friends and more friends. And now I'm very lucky. I got about 50 friends out here from Ohio, and I'd say about 20 of them are really good friends. And that's actually one of the things I'm going to miss most about California is these folks out here. But it's I'll say the toughest part about moving was the first 3 months, and then once I made a few friends, it got so much easier because I started to get in social groups, and it just got a lot easier. If that answers your question. Where Giraffe, yeah, you will love Huang's World. All right, I'll check it out. Rebel, I'm excited for this sneak peek. Excellent. Where Giraffe, maybe Andrew and Brian can camp under one tarp. That's true, if it's big enough. Where Giraffe, single shelter camp. That's got it. Spiky Bry, where Giraffe with the Rebel Eyes tarp I pitched, no pun intended, the idea of doing a tarp episode. That was okay. So let's talk about the road trip. The road trip is going to be, I'm sure Robby will cover it in some of his personal vlogs, but we have, at least I have the idea that it's going to be, I'm not sure if it's going to be like a full-blown episode. 1 or 2 might be a full-blown episode, but I'm thinking it might be its own new series, just because it will be different. We're not going to be doing it live. We might have some videos come out during the process, but we want to do it right, and we want to do it. Let me just mute this because this is getting really annoying. We want to do it right, and we want to make it into a episode of the same caliber, a video as the same caliber as our episodes, if that makes sense. So yeah, it'll take some time for us to edit it all together, but it's good. And when exactly does this trip start? Okay, so Andrew gets here tomorrow, Thursday, we have a trip in Northern California planned out, and then we have some time in Los Angeles together. And then the guys come out in about 2 weeks. We have one backpacking trip planned out here for a full episode. And then the next day, we start going through the American Southwest. We're basically skipping over most of Texas. We're spending a day in Austin. We're spending a day in New Orleans, and we're going up to up home that way. So I'm going to say early April for you, Rebel Eye. That's when we start our road trip. Does anyone else have any questions? I know we're kind of coming up on the end, but if you have any questions, feel free to shoot them my way. This has been pretty this has been pretty fantastic. I was worried I'd just be sitting here drinking coffee by myself. Bryan, you get a question? LA meetup. Yeah, I'm kind of struggling with that right now. We can have an LA meetup, but it'd be a weekday. I don't know how you guys feel about having an LA meetup on a weekday, especially with LA traffic. And I mean, it just doesn't seem fair for everyone. We could theoretically have an LA meetup the day we get back from our backpacking trip, but we'd be driving, I'm just going to say roughly from San Francisco. We'd be hiking 6 miles near San Francisco. We'd be driving from San Francisco back to LA, and then we'd have our meetup that Sunday. And that just doesn't seem very fair for you guys because we'd be literally rolling out of our car with a ton of stuff, smelling awful after a trip. But I'll be honest, if anyone here is in Los Angeles on this chat right now or watches this chat later, send us a Patreon message, send us a message on Facebook, and Andrew and I don't know about the other guys, we can do a quick, we'll try and, no promises, we'll try and do a quick meetup on a weekday while Andrew and I are in town, whether it's just over drinks for a quick hike if you have the day off. Just let us know. Andrew will smell fantastic. Okay. Let's see. Limestone, how important would you say having a quality backpack is? Can you get by with a cheaper pack, or should you spend more? So in my experience, I was talking to my friends yesterday who went camping with me. You don't need a better backpack until you do. So my advice is if you don't have a whole lot of money and you need a backpack, you need to buy a backpack. If it's a good backpack, great. If it's not a good backpack, at least it's a backpack. Take that not so good backpack hiking and see how it lasts. Having a crappy backpack is better than having no backpack. And so make that crappy backpack work as long as you can until you decide you need an upgrade. By that point, you might be in a better financial situation with your life, and then you can make that upgrade then. For me, when I first moved out here, I had a cheap $30 Target day pack. It wasn't great, but it got the job done. I would have these bruises on my shoulder because it would weigh down. It wasn't really calibrated right. And then I'd say after 2 years of that pack, I upgraded to like an actual Osprey day pack, which completely changed my life. It was fantastic. But when I first moved out here, I could barely afford I could afford a $30 pack. I wasn't going to go and spend $120 on a new pack. Then I was able to spend $120 on a new pack, and it was well worth the upgrade. But for that point in my life, it was better to get a cheap backpack and go hiking and be relatively uncomfortable than it was to not go backpacking at all because I couldn't afford the expensive one. Does that answer your question? Okay, let's see. Bryan talking. Megan, any special food plan while in New Orleans? I grew up there. You need to, okay, so actually we made a reservation at, I'm not going to say which one yet because I wanted to be a surprise, at a plantation. I've always kind of wanted to go down and check the plantation out, and they have gumbo. They have a lot of local Louisiana specialties on the menu, and we're going to make full advantage of their restaurant opportunities there. So if you have any recommendations, please send them our way. If you have any, actually, yeah, we need recommendations for places to stay near downtown Los Angeles. We do want to go to Bourbon Street. I have heard that is a little bit touristy these days. So if you have any idea where we can get some real local color, real local flavor, please send it our way. But right now we are going to be on the outskirts for at least one night in a plantation. I'll be starting with a $40 pack. I'm on a budget. So yeah, no, $40 packs is better than no pack. I will say try not to go with like a backpack like a school backpack for books. It's better than nothing, but I would try and go to Target and get a day hiking backpack. Rebel Eye, here's a final question, and all three of you can answer. Our local teen center is starting their own YouTube channel. Green screen, microphone, camera. Any tips to get them popular? I would say start making content, and this is something that Robby says all the time. I'd say start making content that you enjoy watching yourself, and start making content. Like, don't worry about the views at first. You got to have a backlog of good videos before you can even go out there and say watch my video. Because anytime I see some YouTuber come to us and say watch our channel, like promote our channel, and I go to their channel and they have 1 or 2 videos, I'm not going to promote that because I've only seen 1 or 2 videos. What you got to do is you got to have kind of a backlog. I'd say 6 to 10 videos that are of quality that you're proud of putting a name on. Make it something that you enjoy watching. Start off with friends, ask them to share it on Facebook. Then go to Reddit, and then go to places where people are going to watch that. So for us, it made sense to go to like Reddit hiking, Reddit bushcraft at the time when we were starting to do more bushcrafting. I don't know what your videos are going to be like, but if you have other teen centers around the area, maybe talk to them. If there are any forums online that you're part of, that'd be a great place to share. Okay, going through these because it is 5 o'clock and I will need to wrap this up somewhat soon. Limestone, Joe Robinet recently did a Walmart only episode. Really? That's interesting. Megan Varvaro just said why. Not sure what you mean by that, Megan. Let's see. Animation of the place, music, random stuff, cosplay, anything, everything. Oh, well, if you're cosplaying, I know there's a huge market on that. Just go to a place where you love cosplaying, and or a website that is all about that, and get people to watch that, get some critical feedback, and just make something that you love to make. If you don't enjoy making it, you're going to have trouble keep producing that, and that's what we're eventually going to do. Limestone, at Limestone, the big thing is get hip strap tightening. Yep, hip straps are important. I'll say that. My cheap $30 Target pack did have a really cheap hip strap, but that did make a difference. I noticed. Brian, Megan, here. Y'all are going into the middle of crawfish season. Ooh, that's good. Need to get some boiled crawfish. Also, can't pass up on. God, I can't. I suck at pronouncing things. I'm going to say beignets on Bourbon Street can be crazy, but it's something to see. Absolutely. No specific hotel recommendations. I've heard Airbnbs near there are good and not super. I got to check that out. Airbnb is helping us come up with a spot to stay in a Navajo Nation region where the national parks aren't there and hotels are a little different. So we're using Airbnb to find somebody to actually stay with in part of the Navajo tribe. We're so excited to possibly do that. All right, well, it's 5 o'clock. I thank you so much for joining me. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to shoot us a message on Facebook. Thank you so much to all of you. You guys, I'll be honest. Thank you so much for being Patreon supporters. I mean, you really, we wouldn't be able to make this much content. I would not have left my job this soon under the idea that like, hey, maybe we can grow our channel to be something bigger. And you guys are really, really helping us do that. It means so much to us. You guys are really who we are here for. If you have any questions, please send us a message on Facebook. If you are in the Los Angeles area, shoot us a message too if you would like to meet up. Can't promise we will, but we will do everything we can to try. And I think tomorrow we do have a 4-person. All 4 of us are going on a live chat tomorrow for everyone, including non-patrons. That's going to be a little tougher to ask questions, so you're on the right place here if you want to ask us all questions here. Let me see any other last things. Jason, thanks, President Sinard. Thank you. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, other Jason. Thank you, South. Thank you, Esther. Thank you, Serena. Thank you, Spiky Bry. Thank you, Hot for the Hills. Thank you for Serena. Oh, Serena again. Thank you, Limestone. Thank you so much for Thanks, Bruce. I didn't even see you there. All right. Um, everyone have a good Monday. We should be releasing some videos soon. Next week, we should be releasing my video. It is for Vasquez Rocks, if you are familiar with the area. If not, I promise you've seen it because it is in most TV shows and not most TV, a lot of TV shows and a lot of movies. And I almost promise you've seen it once in your life. All right, everyone, have a good one, and I will see you later. Bye.